Alrighty, folks, welcome to Run Amok. I'm your host, Javen Takar, and I know that this is a little bit different for y'all. It's different for me as well. I know, hey, you're a little closer up. I'm recording this a little bit differently than I normally would, obviously. But thank you so much for tuning in. This is something new that I'm trying out, and it is gonna be called simply the Sunday Show, and it's hopefully going to be every week, every Sunday. I'm gonna get on here. We're gonna recap the football week, and it's pretty much should be hopefully your football fix every Sunday. Obviously, the season is wrapped up. The Kansas City Chiefs beat the 49ers in the Super Bowl. It was an overtime thriller. I'm sure many of y'all listening already know what went on. Clearly, I'm a Niner fan. If you're new here, I'm sure hopefully we get some new viewers. I am a Niner fan. My dad is a Raider fan. That's what all this is in the background. The Beat the Press right here. This was the old name. We are now Run Amongst Sports, and I'm still Javen Takar though, so that's pretty cool. But yeah, we've got a couple topics to get into. We're going to be talking about Saquon Barkley's free agency. We're going to see how that goes for him. We're going to discuss a little bit about Brandon Aiyuk and his fifth-year option coming up, what's going on there. And then we're going to go on and dive into what happened today as I'm recording this currently Friday, or I guess Saturday morning. I'm recording this Friday night, Saturday morning, whatever. We're going to be going into T. Higgins and getting franchise tagged and what that could mean because I don't know if he will play on it truly. And then Xavier Howard getting cut. Actually, we'll start with Xavier Howard getting cut because I feel like there's the least amount to talk about that. So, folks, welcome to the Sunday Show, your fix for football Sunday. And I hope you enjoy and leave a comment, leave a like to let me know that you enjoy. If you're listening on Spotify, YouTube, lovely, lovely. And yeah, let's dive right in. So Xavier Howard was cut by the Miami Dolphins this morning, and it's somewhat shocking move. I didn't really think about it, but a lot of Miami fans they're coming out and they're saying, yeah, we kind of expected it. He's getting a little older, getting a little bit more injured. They've already got Jalen Ramsey and Cam Smith, rookie cornerback, or I guess he's going into second year. And what else? Javon Holland. I mean, they've got a lot of stars on that defense, just injury prone, injuries plague that defense with Vic Fangio, of course, leading the realm. It wasn't able to really play to its full potential because there were so many injuries. So it's kind of hard to attest and really tell how great that Dolphins defense could have, would have, should have been. But hopefully next year, it's very rare that 2 years in a row a team becomes injury plagued. So next year, hopefully that Dolphins defense will be a lot better. Not too sure who they actually have as DC. I should look that up, but I'm not going to right now. But yeah, so Dolphins, you've got to feel for them definitely because man, this season could have been special if they didn't have so many. Jalen Phillips going down was like the tip of the iceberg. It was just all downhill from that. And yeah, so Xavier Howard is now cut. I can definitely see him probably. He's got his monies. He's got his monies. He's probably gonna just he. I feel like every corner kind of goes through this in their career. We saw with Darrell Revis, even we can go as far back as the early 2000s. I mean, or I guess he was kind of in the later 2000s, but he started going on these random teams, and you've got him on the Chiefs, and yeah, like what, and then even Richard Sherman went to the Buccaneers. You've got Stephon Gilmore, well, he went to the Panthers, the Colts. I mean, what is going on here? It's real. He's on the Cowboys now. Even I forgot about that. Like he has been going around, and so Xavier Howard is probably now on that part of his career where he's either going to be team bouncing, just basically just going anywhere, just getting a contract, just getting out there every Sunday and playing. As for teams who would really be interested in him, I'm not too sure. Maybe the Cowboys pick him up as a replacement. I believe Gilmore was on a 1-year deal. Maybe my Niners pick him up. We love our cornerbacks, and I wouldn't mind an older one because, if you got Deommodore Lenoir, Travarius Ward, you could use a veteran in the locker room. Uh, I mean, I'm sure he's still solid. I know he was getting burnt a lot more this season. His 2019, 2020, he was one of the top corners in the league, and he really hasn't replicated uh, that type of elite play. So it is what it is. Xavier Howard cut from the Miami Dolphins, interesting, but it is what it is. Teams got to do what they got to do. And so now that that cornerback spot is definitely a position of need for the Dolphins, I think that there is some pretty talented corners in this draft class, so they should be able to draft a guy. Corners is always a tough plug and play though with rookies, and especially Cam Smith. I saw a lot of guys saying that he's really raw, and that's why he didn't really get too much playing time or da 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 da. So definitely corner is going to be a position of need for the Dolphins. They might go out, they might make a splash trade or pick somebody else up in free agency. Um, but yeah, Xavier Howard gone, gone. Interesting to see where he goes. He might go on some random team like the Steelers or something. Honestly, That's just how it goes. It's the life cycle of a cornerback. Hey, we in Patrick Peterson, man, he's on the Steelers too. I mean, that's kind of that could be a topic in its own self. Just the life cycle of corners. They'll be elite, elite, elite. They hit that point where they get injured for a year or two. Their body starts breaking down on them, and then they go and play for a random team and never really see success. I guess Sherman was well, he won the Super Bowl with the Chiefs, I believe. So I guess he got that going for him. Alrighty, let's go into the next topic. We'll stick with the theme of today. T. Higgins, the Bengals let him know he's getting franchise tag, which was kind of comes to a shocker, kind of doesn't. Obviously, the Bengals wanted to keep T. Higgins and Jamar Chase together because who wouldn't? Those are a top three, top five wide receiver duo in the league. T. Higgins is a bona fide receiver one, and obviously Jamar Chase, very talented. A lot of rumors. A lot of people were hoping, T. Higgins would get the bag from the Carolina Panthers or other teams in need of receivers because receivers, I feel like it's a really thin talent pool right now. But with the draft class coming up, it is a receiver renaissance. There's so much talent in the draft class. You got Marvin Harrison Jr., who's probably going to be a top three pick, top five. You've got Roma Dunze. You've got Keon Coleman. There is talent left and right. What, Lad McConnell or something like that? It's Lad. I know his name is Lad. And I know I'm missing some other guys as well. Brian Thompson, right? I mean, there's so many guys. It's going to be a really fun draft class for receivers. It's going to be really fun to get into them as well. So I cannot wait for that time to come. Um, so yeah, the Bengals, they want to keep T. Higgins. Honestly, I just started flaunting about that draft class. In the position the Bengals are in, they could get a really, really good receiver. Instead of throwing that bag at T. Higgins with the franchise tag, I'm not too sure how much the tag was worth, but it is what it is. I feel like you could have afforded to let him walk. And yeah, the tag, so he's tagged, but he could still get traded. A lot of people, I've seen somebody say on Twitter that maybe they're trying to hedge their bets on the Panthers trying to trade for Higgins and get that pick number 33, which could be interesting. If the Bengals do that, that is a huge W because then, yeah, you're still letting Higgins walk, but now you can go on ahead and you can get Brock Bowers in your position and then go on ahead and get another receiver at pick 33. And that offense is superbly talented then. So that would be interesting to watch to see if Higgins gets dealt. I really don't think so, though. I think that Cincinnati keeps him around. They're in a good spot where I do think that Brock Bowers is in play, or they could go defense, they could go cornerback. There's a lot of ways that the Cincinnati Bengals can go about what's to come. But Burrow is gonna have to get paid. Chase is gonna want to get paid. So I don't know if a long term extension is in the uh, future of T Higgins with the Bengals at least. Um, but yeah, if he were to get traded, somebody is going to hop on that. Somebody will give up a second round pick, maybe even a late first round pick for T Higgins. He's just that good, and I'm a big T Higgins fan personally. So definitely a guy to watch out for, and going to be an interesting situation to monitor. Yeah. And I think Bengals, their defense could use some improvement. They've got some guys for sure. You got Trey Hendrickson, Logan Wilson, right? But yeah, I think that they could use some key pieces. And yeah, it'll be interesting to see what the Bengals do with T. Higgins. Again, I think that they could afford to let him walk with just how talented the draft class is. But I understand the move. You don't want to let your star receiver go, and yeah, if you can deal him though, I say go for it. I say go for it. You can get one of these top guys. You can probably get Keon Coleman in the second round. Actually, that's how talented it is. I'm a big Keon Coleman fan, so I will talk about him a lot. Let's go next up. We've got Mr. We'll go Brandon Aiyuk. We'll go Brandon Aiyuk. Yes, again, I'm a Niner fan. And if you're a Niner fan as well listening to this, go check out the 49ers podcast at the Gold Rush podcast, another podcast that I produce, just strictly about the Niners though, because I don't want to be plastering this page with the 49ers, but I do love talking about them. So I set that up for specifically Niners news, a little bit more biased there. I like to be a little bit unbiased here. So Brandon Aiyuk entering his 5th year. Obviously, the 49ers picked up his option, but nobody wants to play on the 5th year option. So he is looking for a long-term extension. He's looking for 23 plus million a year. I mean, he deserves it. He deserves it. But the problem is the 49ers have the highest paid running back in the league. They've got Debo Samuel, who's getting what? I think he might be getting 23 as well, maybe even more. You've got Nick Bosa, the highest paid non-quarterback in the league. You've got Fred Warner, who I want to say is the highest linebacker. I think Roquan might have broke that. You've got Trent Williams, the highest paid O lineman. Where does Ayuk fit into all this? And it's a tough situation. It's a sticky situation where I don't. Both parties they want what they want. The Niners want to keep Ayuk. Ayuk wants money. He deserves that bag. Um, I do believe that the 49ers retain Brandon Ayuk. I don't think that they just let him go. They invested a first round pick into him, and Shanahan basically held him back for his first 1.5, maybe 2 years, and molded Brandon Ayuk to fit the 49ers and Kyle Shanahan's scheme specifically. You see him run blocking down the field. You see him getting open. And of course, the route running comes with Ayuk's natural talents. But that run blocking, that was developed. His hands, I mean, he is just an all-around great receiver. He's a deep threat. He can catch it short and he got the yak ability. But the run blocking is what makes him special. If you want to be a part of the 49ers or the Kyle Shanahan team, you've got to run block. We see it with Juwan Jennings, we see it with Debo Samuel, maybe a little less with Debo Samuel. Everybody has to block basically, and Brandon Ayuk is a special receiver. And I do think the 49ers and Brandon Ayuk get a deal done for both parties. It'll probably be around that $20 million price tag. It's going to be hefty. And it is kind of one of those years that the 49ers might have to let go of a very valuable guy, of a team favorite. We saw it happen with DeForest Buckner in 2019, 2020. The Buckner got traded for the 13th overall pick. We can very well see something similar to that, I feel. Eric Armstead is getting paid a lot of money, but he's kind of again getting to the end of his career, kind of like Xavier Howard. He's getting to the end of his career. He's getting a lot more banged up. His body is it's tough for his body to keep up with the game. Eric Armstead is going to have to restructure his contract, or he might get dealt, he might get traded or cut. Yeah, it's gonna be interesting to see what happens with Eric Armstead there. People are saying, oh, they're gonna cut Dre Greenlaw, they're gonna cut Kyle Juszczyk. I don't think that's gonna happen. I feel like a lot of the 49ers guys, very selfless, very selfless. If Kyle Juszczyk becomes a problem, I think that he will restructure it, push it down the hill. I do think that Eric Armstead also restructures. I was just talking about him, might getting cut, might get traded. I think that he probably restructures as well. Oh yeah, you've got Javon Hargrave as well, who's getting paid a lot. So like the team, there's a lot of high price tag players. But then at the end of the day, you've got $800,000 quarterback, Brandon Ayuk, Brock Purdy. So it's kind of tough to complain. That's the catch. You know, you've got a really cheap quarterback, but you've got all these other guys to pay. At some point, it gets too many guys. So it's gonna be interesting to see how the situation is dealt. I do believe that they get a job, they get a deal done because I think that Ayuk likes it here. Now, you might bring up the point, hey, his friend was posting, oh, we out of here, this is why well, we going to Vegas, da 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 da. His girlfriend was saying, "Oh, this might be the last time we're at Levi's." That's just a bunch of smoke. Listen, we saw with Debo Samuel, we saw with Nick Bosa. I think even Fred Warner was saying some stuff. I think it's just these players know what they're doing. They want to get paid. What better way to get paid than to put on social media that you're not happy? I mean, there it is. You've got fans worried, you've got outrage, you've got some leverage. Really though, the 49ers should have the most leverage. I want to think he's going in his fifth year, so he's not a free agent. If there's no deal done, they can just trade him because he's gonna sit out if he doesn't get an extension. So yeah, you probably just trade him if you don't get a deal done, and they can probably get a second round pick, hopefully an early second. I really don't see anybody giving up an early first round pick unless if you want to trade him to the Chiefs. They'll probably give up 32. I say nay. I say nay. If he wants to get traded, you send him to the Giants or something. You send him to a sorry team, even if you take a second round pick for it, just to teach him a lesson. Just to teach him a lesson. Alrighty. Got a little bias there. Got a little Gold Rush podcasty. Okay, so now how long are we going for here? Okay, we're only about 16 minutes in. These episodes will hopefully be a little longer than my typical videos. Obviously, this one's not, but the hope is that I get some other people on here, that it's not just me talking, that you don't have to just listen to my voice for the entire time. And yeah, well, I'll get some other guys on here. We'll talk football, we'll play some games. It'll be a fun time. Just kind of building up to that so far. This is just the first episode. So what are you gonna do about it? And if you guys enjoy it, and hopefully next week as well, we'll keep going. We'll keep going. If it's kind of not so great, if it's just boring, then okay, we won't. We won't. We'll stop. But yeah, there is hopefully going to be, four of us, five of us, maybe six of us. And it'll be fun. It'll be a really good time. So I definitely recommend to tune into next week's episode, where there'll be more than just Mr. Javon Takar here going for 20 minutes. And yeah, so that should be cool. Now let's talk about Saquon Barkley, somebody really interesting in free agency. At the trade deadline, his name was picked up on a lot about what's going on, what are the Giants going to do with Saquon, and nothing ended up happening. Nothing ended up happening. They were made amends. They were all buddies. He played, whatever. Da, 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 da. Now in free agency, the Giants are not going to tag him, and he is able to negotiate with other teams, which I do believe he goes somewhere else. And honestly, the Ravens would be really, really nice. I think Saquon Barkley on the Baltimore Ravens, that'll be nasty. Barkley, Lamar Jackson, I mean, that is just a nasty. How are you going to stop the read option? How are you going to stop the read option? Because yes, Barkley has the injury history, but he is still so talented. And it's tough for the whole running backs shouldn't get paid crowd. I think running backs should get paid personally. There's a lot of teams out there that could use a good running back. And you saw the 49ers with Christian McCaffrey. He's the highest paid. They made it to the Super Bowl, man, and they could have won if they relied on his back a little bit more. I mean, yes, he got a lot of touches, this and that, but he could have got some more, I think. And I think more teams will try to replicate that. You got the Ravens, who I just mentioned. I feel like the Commanders could go after him as well, but they've got Brian Robinson, Antonio Gibson. Does that really move anybody though? Let's be honest. Yeah, the Titans could even use a running back now. Uh, Maybe the Broncos even. Shoot, I'm just looking at this little list I've got. I think that could be very interesting. Yeah, Saquon though, he's going to instantly improve any team's run game. Um, and yeah, it'd be really interesting to see where he ends up. Oh, actually, the team that I was really thinking of, the Houston Texans, they just slipped my mind. The Texans should go after Barkley and drop a bag on him. Honestly, I think me personally, I like the Texans more than the Ravens because they've got Devin Singletary. I don't know, but you get Saquon, and now you have an established running game. You've got a pass attack with Stroud, Collins, Tank Dell, Noah Brown. You can go out and get draft another receiver. I already flaunted about how talented this draft class is. Go out, you draft a receiver, you sign Saquon, you draft some more defensive pieces. I'm sure D'Amico Ryans is going to get a bunch of Niner guys together. And yeah, you just go on ahead and you just ball. You go out, you ball, you compete, you you win a playoff game or two, make the AFC Championship game, shoot, mess around a little bit, make the Super Bowl. I like the Texans. I hope that they do have some big things ahead of them. And yeah, hopefully Saquon is in their future because boy, that'll be a nasty, nasty team. And then last up, actually, I just remembered, hey, Derrick Henry is also a free agent. So Derrick Henry, what is he? Similar to Saquon, he's going to the latter half of his career. So not similar to Saquon in that way, but similar as in they're both free agents. And yeah, where does he end up? I think that he is actually a better fit for the Ravens than Saquon. You got a true power back, a bruiser. He, just rumbling something downfield. Plus, with J.K. Dobbins getting injured, ACL, the Achilles, this, that, it would be very big, I think, to take some of that strain off of him. Plus, with Derrick Henry as well, and getting older, you run a nasty 1-2 punch there, thunder and lightning. I think that'd be really fun to watch. You can have Dobbins, Henry, Lamar in the back there, and then you just rotate, Henry and Dobbins. I think that could be really solid. That could be a really efficient, really, really, really good run game and open up that offense. Maybe I guess it'll be the same because it's already a run first offense. But hey, they're actually passing on more. You got to give credit is due there. Another name that I've seen a lot of people hype up, the Philadelphia Eagles for Derrick Henry. Philly fans were saying, hey, we had LeGarrette Blount in the Super Bowl. Derrick Henry could be able to go with Blunt. And I think that he would be solid as well. If you could also bring back DeAndre Swift. Again, 1-2 punch. Henry's in the latter half of his career. He's not going to be able to be that workhorse back. Yes, he's still a bruiser back. Yes, he's still a power back. Yes, he can still explode for, a 30, 40-yard gain. But he don't got that anymore in him that, hey, I can play 1, 2, 3 downs. He's gonna have to get subbed out. He's not really a pass catcher either. So you pair him up with a guy that can catch the ball. I think DeAndre Swift can catch it. I hope. I'm actually not too sure. I know Eagles do have a lot of other running backs so that they pass to, and so I think that the Eagles would also work out for Derrick Henry and Saquon. I guess you can argue. I think Derrick Henry can get a little bit cheaper, so it would work out a little bit more to bring back DeAndre Swift. Plus, you're paying Jalen Hurts. Plus, you're paying AJ Brown. Devonta Smith's going to want you. Yeah. Alrighty. So I think that that's going to round off this episode, folks. I don't want to make it too long because again, it's just me here, so I don't want to bore y'all. But yeah, tune in next week. It should be a lot more fun, a lot more energetic. It'll be hopefully really, really cool. I was really stoked for this project, the Sunday show, folks, your fix for football Sunday. Yeah, so let me know if you guys enjoyed. Let me know if you had your fix issued, and hey, maybe we'll live stream a little bit too, huh? That'll be kind of fun if we really start gaining traction. Maybe we'll start live streaming these, and so we can hear y'all's live thoughts on what we should talk about what you think about what we just said. And yeah, it's gonna be a lot of fun, folks. It's gonna be a fun time. Hopefully see y'all next week. And yeah, make sure you check out the Gold Rush podcast if you're a Niner fan. Check out the Run Amok TikTok, and yeah, a lot more active on those stuff. But we're trying to be a lot more active here on the YouTube as well and on the Spotify. So thank you so much for tuning in. Again, I'm your host, Jamin Takar. I hope you had a fun time, as much fun as I did recording this. And yeah, I'll catch y'all next week. Hopefully, we'll sprinkle some videos throughout the week, though, as well. Those will probably be just me. Sunday, we got the Sunday show, which I'm hoping to be like an hour, 45 minutes, hour long length podcast to where you're able to put on Sundays like it's your red zone. Alrighty, folks. See y'all in the next video. Make sure you like. Let me know what you think about this. And of course, subscribe. Alrighty. Thank y'all. I appreciate it.